Deep in India's heartland, the people of Bhopal have been largely forsaken. Poverty and sickness define their existence. But even in Bhopal's most desperate slums, there is an escape. A place to play cricket. What's your favorite thing to do when you play cricket?
मेरे को दो चीज़ ज़्यादा अच्छी लगती हैं, एक बॉलिंग करना और एक विकेट कीपिंग करना.
15-year-old Sachin Kumar is one of millions of Indian boys who play cricket, the national pastime. But he's forced to play from his scarred and infected knees because he can't walk. Like so many of the children of Bhopal, Sachin's a victim of what took place in the shadow of this cricket field 26 years ago.
एक बजे रात को किसी मिर्ची से चली तो मेले में आदमी लोग आके ले उठो गैस निकला.
हमें पता नहीं चला, एकदम से गैस मुंह में, आंखों में जलन, नाक में, मुंह में उल्टियां.
Tragedy in central India. It happened while much of the city of Bhopal was still asleep. The Union Carbide pesticide plant on the edge of town suddenly began to leak.
"40 tons of methyl isocyanate, an extremely lethal gas, leaked from the Union Carbide pesticides plant. A cloud of poison blew across the city.
And I think the first 24 hours we must have treated about 50,000 patients.
Bhopal was a city of the dead and dying. Some of the stricken inhaled so much poison their organs collapsed. 3,000 people died overnight. Many who weren't killed were instantly blinded. Union Carbide CEO Warren Anderson flew in from the U.S. to assess the damage. He was arrested and charged with criminal negligence, but quickly posted bail and fled India on a private jet, as thousands more were dying. Estimates of the total killed are as high as 15,000 to 25,000 people. It is still the deadliest industrial disaster ever. When Union Carbide reached a final settlement with the Indian government for $470 million in 1989, survivors received on average $500 each and forfeited their right to further compensation.
हमारा जिस्म तो कोई काम ही नहीं करता है, चूँकि पूरा हाथ पाँव में बहुत तकलीफ होती है, कभी खुजाल चल जाए, कभी कुछ.
The disaster has not stopped yet. It has gone to generation. We are seeing the people with congenital anomalies nearby the factory, those who were exposed, the children born after the disaster.
Do you think the gas leak had anything to do with why you can't walk?
शायद ऐसा हो सकता है कि मैं चल नहीं पा रहा हूँ. मेरे को थोड़ा सा बेकार ज़रूर लगता है, मगर मैं चाहता हूँ कि मैं चलूँ और फिर क्रिकेट खेलूँ।
Sachin's doctors say he was born with cerebral palsy because his mother was exposed to the poisonous gas. Today, little's known about the overall impact the disaster has had on the health of Bhopal's 1.8 million citizens, because the Indian government discontinued most of its local studies 16 years ago.
Why have so many children been born here who have either been sick at birth or become sick?
Due to the poverty, below poverty line.
Babulal Gar is the regional minister in charge of relief and rehabilitation.
Evidence suggests that Bhopal has a unique problem.
No. Nowadays, no unique problem. Our country is in a unique problem.
So your position is that the incidence of illness has nothing to do with the effects of the gas leak?
There is a problem due to the poverty.
Not the gas leak.
Not the gas.
Poverty.
बाबूलाल गौर सरबसर झूठ बोलते हैं। यही इतने एरिया में क्यों हो रही है? इसका मतलब है कि यूनियन कार्बाइड के जहरों से विकलांगता यहाँ ज्यादा पैदा हो रही है।
The Union Carbide site has never been cleaned up, not by the company, not by the Indian government. The skeletal remains of the factory still stand. Some of the 400 tons of hazardous waste remain here in a shed. Over the course of 26 monsoon seasons, poisons have steadily seeped into the soil, contaminating Bhopal's water supply, creating a toxic no man's land. Only it isn't. Sachin makes the 1 mile trip from his home to the grounds of the old plant, where children from the surrounding slums hop the factory wall or crawl through holes to play cricket amid the wreckage. There are 2 makeshift fields on the 67-acre site, one in the back of the factory, one in the front.
It is a disgrace on India to look the other way, even after 26 years. I will put Indian government, federal government, directly responsible for a child like Sachin.
The Indian government, which now owns the factory site, has also neglected to adequately study the levels of contamination here and elsewhere in Bhopal. In September, E60 tested the soil at 9 locations near Sachin's house and at the 2 cricket fields on the site. We hired SGS, a global environmental testing firm based in Switzerland, to collect and analyze samples. The most toxic soil came from the 2 cricket fields. The test revealed the presence of HCH, a pesticide used by Union Carbide at the plant that's now banned by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency.
What's been shown with this chemical is facial paralysis, chronic nerve problems, and cancer. The levels of HCH were 300 to 400 times greater than the level that we would find to be acceptable in the United States for children to be playing on.
जहर निकला था, तो ये जो जिस जगह पे तुम खेल रहे हो, यहाँ पे भी जो है जहर फैला हुआ है जमीन में, तो फिर तुम लोग जो है जब तुम्हें मालूम है, तो फिर इस जमीन पे तुम क्यों खेलते हो?
जी इधर आसपास ग्राउंड नहीं है इसलिए खेलते हैं.
How can it be that children are free to roam this site, walk around? Shouldn't they be prevented access?
People are living there. Their forefathers are living there. They can't vacate their land. We can't press them to vacate this.
But the site itself, why can't you put up barbed wire?
They are willingly living there. Habitual, they are living in that circumstances. They don't feel any kind of trouble.
The people there don't feel that there's a problem?
No problem. They don't care their own lives. When what I can do?
This past Sunday, during a state visit to India, President Barack Obama met with college students in Mumbai. At the same time, some 400 miles away, children in Bhopal were playing cricket at the toxic Union Carbide plant.
तो तुम्हें मालूम है उसकी वजह से यहाँ पे जो है पूरा जो है जहर यहाँ भी फैल गया था जमीन में जिस पे खेलते हो?
नहीं पता था.
For weeks prior to Obama's visit, a group of Bhopal victims and activists requested a meeting with him. The request was turned down. Instead, on Monday, the group protested, demanding that Obama pressure Dow Chemical, the American company that acquired Union Carbide in 2001, to clean up the factory site. The protesters also demanded the extradition of Warren Anderson, the former CEO of Union Carbide, now 90 years old and living in Bridgehampton on Long Island. E60 requested interviews with Anderson, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and India's ambassador to the United States. They all declined. Dow issued a statement to E60 saying it has no relation to the tragedy or its aftermath.
The children of Bhopal are the direct victims of the tragedy that took place 26 years ago. They grew up in the middle of poisonous environment.
With no one willing to clean up the factory or even fence it off, children will continue to play cricket on toxic ground, victims of a disaster that has no end in sight.
मेरे सपने तो क्रिकेटर बनना है और मेरा सपना है कि जो जैसे कि मेरा घर है अभी तो मट्टी का है मगर मैं चाहता हूँ कि
शाम को सोते हैं मालिक से यही दुआ करते हैं कि मालिक हमें अच्छे उठा देना जो हम बच्चों का मुंह देख ले ऐसी समस्या कर करके नहीं हमारा खाना पीना सोना हराम हो रहा है